Everyone. So, welcome to our first session of Curse of Strahd. The sounds of conversation drift about you as you wake into a deep fog. These sounds of conversation echo into and out of focus. The shapes around you at first are unfamiliar, but as the disorienting moments pass and the fog begins to lift from your mind, you begin to recall where you are. You are in danger. This place is a place of malice, and you sit among death. But you know that you don't face these horrors alone. Around your warm campfire, you found a small sanctuary within the pervasive evils of this strange place. And as your fog-shrouded mind begins to put names to these faces around you, you get the unshakable sense that you are among allies, perhaps even friends. For some of you, this place may even feel more like home than where you last laid to rest. Yoruha, why don't you go ahead and describe your character for us?
Yoruha is a half elf. She has deep forest green eyes, semi long black hair that kind of goes down her face, is shaved in the back, with a little bit of green highlight in there that's obviously not natural, but she carries a sword and a shield, and on her breastplate is actually a moon, showing that um, she worships Saloon, and she's a little bit different than most elves around her. She has the complexion that's not quite drow, but not quite a pale elf. Um, Definitely a different shade than any sitting around her. Um, she's probably just sitting at the fire, kind of looking up to the sky, looking for any sign of the moon or stars, and generally making sure everybody is either, you know, eating, sleeping, making sure they're doing all right.
Fantastic. So, the fog breaks out even further, revealing more of the forest around you all. As you're beginning to take in more of your surroundings, Varanus, why don't you go ahead and tell us about your character?
Varanus is a kobold, but not like a kobold you've ever seen. He carries himself with dignity, like a man or even a noble. He is well dressed, well armed, and speaks with eloquence and intelligence. But he doesn't speak much. Shadows seem to cling more tightly around his wrinkly, pale scaled form.
All right. So, the shadows dancing over your kobold compatriot, more of the scene begins to take form around you all. Hayes, why don't you go ahead and describe your character for us?
Um, he's a pretty average-looking man. He's generally wearing like an older kind of garb that you'd probably attribute to a more aesthetic lifestyle. Someone who doesn't live on a lot of money. Definitely not noble descent of any means. Um, he's got a tan on his skin, evident of someone who's mostly been outdoors for most of his life. Um, any sort of look he gives anything isn't doesn't seem terribly focused, but he's still paying attention. The only thing that really truly stands out about him are built calluses upon his hands, both his palms and his fingers. Quite rough to look.
All right. And Aurelia, you could describe your character for us.
So Aurelia is a somewhat pale woman with brown eyes and a long raven black braid with a very light blue scarf. She's not sure, exactly the origins of why her people wear light blue scarves, but it seems as if she wants to wear it anyway around her neck, just for protection. She also wears a bright yellow dress under some white leather armor, as well as holding a vial in her hands, playing it softly while she is simply just ignoring the world around her.
Fantastic. And finally, there are two other figures here with you. Obscure it as though you were looking at them through a mist. They also sit in attendance around this group, one of your party. No, their identity is a mystery to you now. You do know them to also be companions, all the same. As you look around your evening campsite, you're reminded of your bleak surroundings. Towering trees whose tops are lost in a heavy gray mist above you. They block out all but a death gray moonlight, and although your senses have returned to yourself, you still see a thick fog, a mist clinging close to your campsite, though your fire seems to be keeping them at bay for now. The tree trunks are unnaturally close to one another, and the woods have the silence of a forgotten grave about them, yet they exude the feeling of an unvoiced scream. Catch the scent of death on the air. What is everyone's passive perceptions?
14.
10.
9. No, 11.
13.
Hayes, you hear the telltale sound of a twig snapping underfoot, closer than you would like. You hear another. Something's coming from the tree lines, something you can't see just yet. How do you all respond?
Something's here. I'll ready my crossbow.
Hayes is going to raise his fist in preparation.
Your campfire illuminating the area around you. The figures on the periphery of the camp begin to take form. You almost seem to recognize them for a brief moment. Figures from your lives before you got here, creeping in, slowly stepping forward. Really, you're the first to see one of these things come into focus in front of you. It looks like the face of a family member, but torn. A deep furrow across the front of their face. Rotting flesh. From all around the campsite, more of these undead figures begin to creep in, slowly marching towards your campfire, each of them bearing a striking resemblance to somebody that you knew outside of this dark place. As they continue to encroach upon you all, we are going to roll initiative.
Oh my god.
Okay, it looks like we need Aurelia and Veronis to roll those again, and then we'll get those replaced with your original initiative rolls. Make sure your token is selected when you hit the initiative button.
Oh, guys, that's why. Okay, I have to select my token, then do initiative.
Did you just
Yeah.
fill initiative twice?
It's a natural. It's 3 total for me, by the way, instead of 10.
Okay.
Mine's a lot worse. Wait, it was right the first time, wasn't it?
Yeah, yours was a 22.
Okay. You'll all notice an indicator over your token when it is your turn to act. You can either let me know when your turn is finished or when your turn is concluded. You can just press the EOT button on your character's card in the chat bar. It is directly below your portrait. Varanus, seeing these undead creatures beginning to march towards you, what do you do?
All right. There's my sheet. I think I'll level my crossbow at this guy right in front of me to the left.
Okay.
Or whichever one.
This one here?
Probably
Okay.
the closer one, yeah.
We are off to a great start, everybody. Varanus,
Oh boy.
startled
Welcome to Curse of
by
Strahd,
these
people.
creatures moving in, you whip your crossbow around and fire just too soon. The bolt goes whizzing off into the woods, into the fog, out of sight.
Pull out a little screwdriver and tighten this. I think I'll stay where I am, though.
Okay. Ace.
Hayes is going to he's gonna move towards this Zambino to the west. He's gonna take a swing. Wow.
8 just
And,
hits.
Oh. Okay. I'll take it.
Take it.
And then bonus action.
10 bludgeoning, not bad. All right.
Do well to the man.
Your first strike, unsure as the surprise washes over you for a brief moment, fails to impact in any meaningful, dramatic way, but your second strike, you have your senses about you. The strike is powerful. Not powerful enough to fell this creature, but it is definitely looking hurt. And with that, these creatures do begin to approach you all. Okay, Aurelia, there are 2 zombies closing in on you. They reach their arms out towards you, trying to claw and slam at you. It is only a 4 to hit with the first strike. The second one reaches out towards you. It's a 6 to hit.
4 and a 6 both miss.
Okay. Yoruha, there are 3 zombies approaching you. 2 of them get just close enough to reach out. That is a 22 to hit. It is 2 bludgeoning, Yoruha.
Alright.
Second one reaches out towards you as well. That is only a 12 to hit you with the second attack.
No, that doesn't hit.
Okay. Hayes, as you rush forward attacking that first zombie, others seem to draw their attention towards you, slowly shambling in your direction. It is a 6 on the first attack, an 11 on the second, and a 17 on the third,
Okay, the 17 hits.
for 5 bludgeoning.
Oh, yikes.
Everybody make perception checks, please.
Okay.
Aurelia, you spot to the northeast, standing seemingly as if on some sort of a platform, but they're on the thinnest of branches, high up over the forest floor. A figure cowled, hooded entirely in black, watching the proceedings from high above. Aurelia, you are up.
Right. I'm gonna take note of the black hooded figure and ignore it for now. I'm gonna turn to the half elf that is next to me, barely knowing who she is, and I lay a hand in her. I'm like, "It's okay. We'll get through this together." And I cast heroism on her.
Nice. Wow.
And then I am going to be, yeah, I'm gonna end my turn off of that heroism cast.
Okay.
So you get 3 temporary hit points at the start of each of your turns.
Thank you so much.
I got you.
Okay. That does end your turn. Yoruha, you are up.
Feeling that little bolster inside her, whatever nerves had made her not be able to pull up her shield for that first attack, she seems to kind of shake her head and go, yeah, you're right. And she's going to slash at the one to her north.
Okay. 16 hits. Okay. Blade strikes home, lopping off a chunk of the creature's dead flesh.
And that'll do it.
Okay. Okay, Veronis.
Do I see the hooded figure?
Aurelia, have you made it known to everybody?
I did not say anything.
I believe the only other person that would have seen it, yes, Veronis, you would have seen it with your 16.
Okay. Well, Veronis, thinking he recognizes a necromancer when he sees one, is going to take a shot at that guy.
Okay. Veronis, your bolt goes flying in the figure's direction, seemingly directly at center mass of the chest. Just before the bolt strikes, though, you see the figure raise a hand, and a shimmering field of energy washes up and over him, deflecting the
Bloody
bolt.
magic. Yeah, okay, I'm done.
Hayes.
God, I really wish I had key points right now. I am going to do the sensible option, and I'm going to disengage.
Okay.
And I'm going to just go back to where I was. Kinda. Mostly. Not next to the zombie, but close enough. And I'm going to end my turn because that's all I can do.
Okay. Brings us back to the zombies. The 3 that were following Hayes begin to slowly, monotonously march towards him. One of them, seeming to come around the tree and see Veronis for the first time, looks hungrily up towards him. Okay, here we go. Veronis. It is a 17 to hit
Yeah, that is.
for 3 bludgeoning. Aurelia, there are 2 after you. It is a 15 and a 21 to hit.
Both hit.
It's a total of 8 bludgeoning, Aurelia.
Alright.
Yoruha. There are 3 surrounding you. It is a 15, a nat 1, and another nat 1 to hit you.
Nope.
Hayes, 2 that followed you through the trees back to your campsite. A 5 and an 8, both misses, I'm sure. Brings us to Aurelia.
Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna have to do something. I guess I'll take out my rapier and I'm going to be attacking this one next
Okay.
to me.
A 9 hits.
Alright.
5 piercing.
And I am going to give my bardic inspiration to Hayes, and I'm going to end my turn.
Aruha.
Okay, guys, we might want to run. Even as she says that, she's gonna at least swing, but she's definitely looking back and forth from everybody like, this does not look good. Maybe we should think about running. And to the north one again.
Okay. 18 hits for 3.
That'll be it.
Varanus. Varanus, those of you that have noticed the figure in the trees see that he has taken a new position. He's crouching low, his hands steepled in front of him like he's watching with great interest as this unfolds.
I agree with the elf. I'd like to. Can I take and interact with object and pull a burning log from the fire?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna disengage and run over here. I'm gonna shout at the zombies, "Over here, you walking fertilizer!" That's my turn.
Okay. We're calling it an intimidation check. I want to say make a how loud and attention grabbing are you check, but that doesn't exist. So go ahead and make an intimidation check.
Imagine if it did.
Right. Okay. So, several of the zombies see you, Varanus, and begin looking into your direction. At the end of your turn?
Yep, that's the end of my turn.
Hayes.
I am gonna have to see if I can't at least finish off the one that I damaged.
Okay.
Because if I move, I get hit. But if I do nothing, then these are maybe gonna just gang up on these two. That's not good. So I'm hitting the one I damaged previously.
8 hits. Gotta love zombies. All right. Hayes, as you strike that creature, it drops onto the ground, crumbling into a mass of this dead flesh. As it does, it ceases to move.
Okay. Alright, so with my bonus action, let me double check something. Actually, wait, no, because it's just a bonus action to honor strike, so that counts as an attack action, so I can't grapple. I will just attack the one to my northwest.
Okay. 9 hits. 9 bludgeoning. All right. Anything else?
That is all I'm going to be able to do, because if I try to do anything else, I'll probably die.
Okay. Brings us to the zombies. Aurelia, the two that are surrounding you continue their assault. It is a 5. Oh, and a nat 1. They cannot hit anything, apparently. Right.
I guess not.
Yaruha, you have 1 coming after you still. That is a 15 to hit.
Nope.
Okay. Varanus, the 2 in front of Yaruha begin looking towards you, looking around, seeing the fire. They begin lurching towards you mindlessly. It is an 8 and a 13 to hit you, Varanus.
Those miss.
Yaruha, are you taking an opportunity attack at either of them?
Um, you know what? I'm not going to because we decided we were gonna run. So she sees what he's doing and she nods to him and kind of looks like she's going to at least help the woman beside her get out of the range, and then she might run back to help him.
Okay.
She just gives him a head nod, like, yeah.
Hayes, one of the ones that was after you, also disengages from you and moves down to Veronis. Are you taking an opportunity attack?
No.
Okay. Veronis, the last one attacking you. It is a 22 to hit for 3 bludgeoning.
Yep, that totally hits.
Hayes, that brings us to the one that is still attacking you. 16 to hit.
Oh, that just barely fucking hits.
Hayes, that is going to be 6 bludgeoning.
Oh, I'm down.
Oh no.
Aurelia, you're up.
Alright, so I am going to disengage real quick. I am gonna go right here. And I am going to cast Healing Word on Hayes to see how much I can pick him up by.
Okay.
So that's gonna be 4 points of healing on Hayes, and I am going to end my turn.
Okay. Yoruha.
She kind of glances downwards, glances over at Hayes, and she's going to move here, and she's going to do the same thing that Varus has done and yell, over here, come on, come get me, over here, and try and get the rest of them to follow her.
Okay.
Get away from her injured companions.
At the top of the initiative, the figure up in the trees stands up to their full height, looks around, almost seems almost displeased as he looks around. You see his head shake for just a moment. Veronis, you're up.
Well, I have 5 HP. So, I going to continue my torch waving as I disengage.
Okay.
Head down here, and I will. Oops, that's what I meant to do. I'll cast Sanctuary on myself.
Okay.
As I grab hold of one of the multiple necklaces on my barley and cast a spell of protection over myself.
Right. To Hayes.
I mean, just for the sake of dealing with the problem, so we don't have as many, and otherwise I have to disengage and not do anything from it. I'm just gonna beat on the zombie.
Okay.
More likely gonna maybe hopefully kill it.
16 hits. 8 damage has certainly damaged it, but it is still standing.
Oh boy, I can't wait to roll a 6 or something. Okay.
I mean, I gave you Bardic Inspiration, so you
Fair point.
probably would have had it, so.
11 hits. Another 6 does drop it. You see it drop to the ground, begin convulsing. Stand back up.
Ah, you. I have some faith in my ability to get away from a single shambling thing, so I'm going to potentially take the opportunity attack.
19 to hit.
What?
Damn.
Double
How much?
19s, in fact. It is 6 bludgeoning, Haze.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? Well, I could just flop down to the ground right in front of her.
Oh no. Okay.
Next week on The Walking Dead.
All right. So, the figure in the tree stands the rest of its way to its impressive height, and you hear a booming voice. It seems to come from the trees. It seems to come from the land itself. Deep, powerful. It says, "Who gave you permission to leave?" As you watch this figure in the trees standing full against the strange gray moonlight drifting through the cloud cover overhead, two enormous, leathery, bat-like wings explode from behind him. He leaps from the tree and glides down. Ron, he lands nearby to you. You see him glance over in your direction after using his 40-foot fly speed, lands on the ground, vanishes in a puff of gray smoke, Varanus, and appears directly in front of you.
I don't need permission, you bloody vampire.
He lashes out at you. At disadvantage, Varanus, it is a 26 to hit.
He has to roll a wisdom save?
Wisdom save it is. Wisdom save result is a 19.
Yeah, he passes.
Varanus, as the arm reaches out from under the cloak to lash up at you, it strikes you low in the stomach, and then you feel this white-hot burning from low on your midsection all the way up to your right shoulder. Look down, and you have been laid open, taking 10 points of slashing damage and 13 points of necrotic, Varanus.
That would be enough to kill Varanus outright.
You all watch this figure dive down from the treetops, land a short distance from Varanus, vanish, and reappear in front of him before, in one strike, laying him low.
Bloody vampire.
Bloody hell, though, mate.
Right. Brings us back to the zombies. Naruha. Two of them close in on you. One of them seeming to come around the tree to block your path from the other side. Zombies that were following Varanus stop in their tracks and turn back towards the rest of you. Yaruha. It is a 15, a 10, and a 16 to hit. Do any of those hit?
Nope.
Okay. Aurelia. It is a 22, a 17, and a 15 to hit.
I'm down. All three hit.
Aurelia, you can make your death save.
Okay. Come on, natural 20. Nope.
Yoruha. Seeing your friends falling around you, what do you do?
I'm going to shoot. I'm going to take the opportunity attacks. 5, 10, 15.
15, a 9, and an 8 to hit you.
Nope.
All the strikes
And
bouncing off of your armor and your shield as you rush to your friends.
I'm going to lean down to Hayes and whisper, "It's not over yet." And I'm going to give him a point of healing from Lay on Hands.
Oh boy.
I gotta get everybody else up, or I'd give the rest to you.
What?
That's
I'm
fair.
not a healer though.
I
have
got no
any-
spell slots left, bruh.
Hayes don't know that.
She basically
true.
is gonna get you conscious, and she's gonna grab you by the arm and say, "Stop trying to be a hero. Get out of here now." And and that's all I can do.
Uranus is unfortunately no longer with us. Hayes.
Well, since I'm supposed to not be a hero, I am going to not head towards the scary man, just disembowel someone. I'm going to disengage. And that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Okay. Hayes, as you begin running to the north, Yoruha telling you that this fight is not over yet. You run, looking back behind you for just a moment to catch the glimpse of the hooded figure slowly walking towards Yoruha and Aurelia. You turn back in front of you just in time to see a veritable wall of corpses. Dozens, if not over 100 of them, marching through the fog directly in front of you. In that moment, the shadowy figure vanishes from sight once again in a puff of gray smoke and materializes directly in front of Yoruha, standing over Aurelia, and he looks towards Yoruha and he says, "Oh, this is most assuredly over." The hand lashes out, and before you can feel the sting and the pain of the strike, Yaruha, you start awake, alone in your own campsite,
What the?
looking down at the grievous wound that you have surely just acquired. There's nothing, not even the clothes are scratched, but you can feel this dull, lingering pain as if maybe sometime months, days, years ago, you had assumed some massive injury there. But for now, it appears that this was all just a terrible, terrible dream. Early morning light shines through the canopy of the leaves overhead. A light rain sends occasional drops, and a light mist falling into your campsite, when you notice, drawn in a scrawling elvish script that takes you a moment to recognize this isn't your native script, but something else, but reminiscent of it. The message is slowly vanishing with each raindrop. It reads, "A kindred spirit seeks as you seek. They wait for you in the mist." It's followed by a very crudely drawn map and a set of vague instructions leading you deeper into the woods. What do you do as you wake to all this?
Um, well, she definitely starts awake, and there's a moment where she's kind of just running her hands over her body, going, okay, my armor's not on. That was definitely a dream. And as she kind of glances at this scroll, it takes her a minute to kind of like look around and be like a little worried, because she just had a dream that somebody was not only sending undead after them, but they were watching them from the trees. So very much paranoia as she's looking up to the trees. And after finally kind of considering that if they wanted her dead, they wouldn't have left her a message, she kind of picks up the map, looks it over, and there's a moment where she kind of looks confused because there's something she's been searching for desperately, and there's been no leads on it, and she kind of bites her lower lip and goes, "All right, Sloan, if this is the way we're going to do it." She starts to get packed up to head to where the map has drawn.
Okay. As Yoruha begins to make their camp and make her way into the woods following this lead, Varanus, you start awake to the sound of a carriage toppling, rouses you from a deep and restless dream state. Your belly is most assuredly not laid open in front of you as you kind of grasp at it. Your clothes aren't damaged. Again, just a dull ache where the wound might have been. You see that as you're glancing out the window of the tavern bedchamber, what caused all the commotion outside. A stubborn mule seems to be blocking the narrow road below your tavern where you're staying tonight. The beast seems to have caused some sort of a collapse of a cart. A merchant is yelling at the mule and at the person leading it along. You can see that gentle rainfall coats everything outside, kind of causing a bit of a reflective glow. Clearing the remaining fog from your mind, you see something strange on the nightstand beside your bed. It's in a neatly penned and tight script. It reads, "Your day of vengeance is upon you. Seek out the lord of your foe in the mists." This is followed by a vague map, incomplete directions seeming to lead you out of town into the eastern wilderness.
All right. On my way out, I'd like to ask, I assume there's a barkeep or some
Absolutely.
barmaid,
Yeah.
someone like that. I'd like to ask him, did you see anyone enter my room?
No, you've been our only visitor tonight. It's the off season. Pretty slow. Only one in or out was you all night.
I see. Thank you. And I'll follow the note.
Okay. Making your way through the crowded streets. Everyone is going about their business, cowls up, all vaguely reminiscent of the figure that you saw in the mists. But following the directions, you do eventually make your way to the outskirts of town, and they seem to be drawing you onto a path that leads into the nearby woods. As Veronis follows these instructions, vague and strange instructions that were left at his bedside, Hayes, you come to, sitting upright in the center of a sheltered glade. Exact same position that you went into meditation some hours ago, judging by the light that is breaking through overhead. The smell of fresh rain clings to the soil as the first droplets of a storm begin to fall. You feel as if you have day or week-old bruises all over you where you have been pounded on and pummeled. But there's no injury, and the wounds, the bruises seem like they could have been acquired months ago. As this oddness crosses over you, you see that in the earth next to you where you sat for your meditation, pinned to your pack, is a note that certainly was not there when you began your meditation. It's written in an ancient draconic script, one that you know well. It says, "Seek him out, free him from the castle shrouded in mist, and bring light to the darkness." This cryptic note is followed by a set of vague directions leading you deeper into the forest and towards a woodland path. What do you do around your camp? Do you follow this message? Do you do anything else in your camp before leaving?
Considering Hayes doesn't exactly have a lot to really manage, he's pretty much immediately going to pack up and head out.
Okay. The rain overhead slowly building into a true storm, if not the beginnings of it. Gathering your sparse belongings and heading deeper into the woods. Finally, you get to Aurelia. You wake, startled, jumping out of your cot to the sound of music and distant thunder. There's a lute plucking a gentle tune just outside of your wagon as a storm seems to be brewing in the distance. Your own instrument sits propped on the wall nearby. All of your injuries seemingly faint as if they came from a very long time ago. But still, that ache gives some sort of reality to the terrible dream you've all just experienced. As you open your wagon door to make sure of your surroundings, you can see many people sitting grouped around a campfire, your Vistana family. They're in an open field as thunderclouds roil against the morning sun to the east. Other wagons, like the one that you're currently in, stand in a circle facing the center. Stories are exchanged over the fire as you shake off this nightmare and prepare to join them. Just as you're about to shake this all off as a bad dream, you You begin to step down, and just then something catches your eye. There's a note addressed to you and sealed with a Vistani mark pinned to the inside of your wagon's door. It says, "Your time has come to venture forth. Seek your power in the mists." It's followed by a set of obscure directions leading you along a backroads trail and out of the outskirts of this hamlet.
Oh, I look around to see if anyone in the camp may have given me that letter potentially.
No one seems to be looking in your direction. Seeing no one seems to be watching if you've noticed or anything like that. Make an insight check if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, paranoia says it could be, but you have no real evidence of that at the moment.
Alright, I would tell somebody that I'm off to finish off this letter and see what it means. I pack up my stuff, and I follow the directions somewhat closely to see what's gonna happen to me.
Okay. So, an elderly woman shouts after you, "All right, be back by supper. We'll be breaking camp."
Thank you, Mama. See you soon, hopefully.
So all of you, having received similar messages, making your way through woods, out of cities, various different directions, the storm that was brewing above all of you begins to reach a bit of a peak. You can tell that it's still some hours away, but it's going to be a bad one. Looking around, notice that none of the landmarks that you were familiar with in this general area seem to be holding true anymore. But following your directions in this cryptic message that you'd received, it doesn't take long before it leads you from those familiar roads and onto a disused trail overgrown by weeds and the roots of spindly trees. They seem to almost be dying as they're growing up and out of the earth here. The light drizzle that has been falling begins to grow and grow until it's a moderate rainfall. As you're making your way through this area, you see that the area off of your path to either side of you becomes more and more shrouded by this mist. Assuming it to be just the precursor to the storm rolling in, you don't pay it too much mind, but it does bear a striking resemblance to the mist that you saw in your nightmares. Following these paths, eventually you begin to approach a wooded crossroads. The rain makes the cloaked form standing there seem all the more unreal. Yaruha, what do you do? You are alone on a path. Directly in front of you is a crossroads. You can tell that several intersecting roads are leading to this crossroads. The figure stands in the center.
She's going to take a breath and walk up. No hostile look on either her hand or her face or any, look like she's going to draw her sword yet.
Okay.
As she walks up and says,
So before you get a chance to speak and say anything, you can tell that the figure is staring straight ahead, head tilted slightly up as if he's looking at something that you all can't see. Varanus, approaching from a different path, you see this same scene, this hooded figure standing in the middle of this crossroads in the rain. You don't yet see Yaruha or anything else. All you can see is this mist-shrouded figure standing in the middle of this crossroads. What do you do?
I draw my crossbow and approach slowly.
Okay. As you are approaching, crouched low, doing your best to stay out of sight, using the mist as a natural cover, Haze, you see the same thing. This figure standing at the center of the crossroads. You don't see anyone else. All you see is these vague outlines of paths intersecting here, and the figure staring off in the distance in the center of it.
Can I make an insight check?
Absolutely. What are you trying to discern?
I'm trying to discern if there's anything suspicious about this figure standing in the road, or
Okay.
standing at the crossroads.
The figure that you see standing in the crossroad is garbed identically to the figure from your nightmare. You can see that they look up towards something out of sight for you. With a 23, you can get a sense of longing, a sense of enthrallment, almost anxiety. Figure definitely has not noticed your approach.
I suppose Hayes will whistle to get his attention, though. Or their attention.
So, as you are about to whistle, drawing the air into your lungs, Aurelia, you see the same sight, approaching from a different road, all paths seeming to converge onto this crossroad. You see the hooded figure standing in the middle of the road, rain beginning to turn into more of a downpour as he stares into the distance. What do you do?
I put a hand on a rapier and I'm like, you know what? Okay. I pray that the travels of the mist keep me safe. Nothing can go wrong, right? And I start to walk through the mist.
Okay. So, as Aurelia takes a step forward, as Varanus is creeping forward with his crossbow, Yaruha begins to speak, and a whistle just begins to break. The figure snaps his head up. Glaring around you all, you see piercing red eyes. What you took for a cloak spreads out around it, revealing itself to be a pair of mighty black bat-like wings. With one powerful motion and a blast of chill air, the wings sweep the vague figure away into the sky, vanishing into the mists far overhead in the blink of an eye. As this creature vanishes, eyes tracking it up into the sky, as your eyes fall back to the crossroads, you all begin to see each other moving towards this crossroads from 4 different paths all intersecting here. Doesn't take long before all 4 of you are standing in this crossroads together. Looking around, you can see that there are 2 paths shrouded in mist that neither of you came from that are also leading to this place. So, all of you now standing together in this crossroads. What do you do? It would be important to note that this is the first time that any of you have ever actually seen each other in person. The notions that you got in the dream were that while you were having that dream, you all knew each other well. But this is most certainly the first time any of you have actually met.
I would still have my crossbow out.
Yeah, I would still have my hand on my rapier.
So, are you with the vampire? Have you come to kill me too?
What? Bloody hell, mate! Wait, hold on. I just met you. I don't know what vampire you're talking about.
You surely saw the figure that just flew into the mist.
Look, I don't even know what I can call you. I've never seen what are you, a lizard man? Like,
Seen you. And Yoruha's going to point directly at Hayes, and then she's like runs her finger like back and forth to the other 3 and go, I just had a dream, and you died, and it was horrible to that man, and then you emboldened me, and then I got him up, and oh god, I'm not making any sense, am I?
okay, it's okay. You know what? Calm down. Come here. We can calm down. We probably all just met. I mean, I don't know. I've heard stories, of people seeing others in dreams, but, I believe I've only just seen your face.
This could still be part of the illusion.
Or it could have been a blessing. We may have seen something from the future, or we may see something we may yet avoid.
I mean, you have a point.
You That thing a vampire?
I don't see what else it could be. You saw its wings.
I saw its wings, but I don't know what it's called. Never seen anything like it before.
Unfortunately, I have. But don't think I'll be tracking it down in this mist.
Maybe we should take like one step at a time. We all kind of just met. Let me actually. I'm sorry, I'm very rude. Let me introduce myself. I'm Aurelia.
Varanus.
Yoruha.
Haze.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's 4 of us. Would I notice the other 2 paths, by the way, Sean, or no?
You would.
Okay.
You would very, very distinctively notice that there are 6 paths that lead to this place.
Okay. But yeah, there are 4 of us. How are there, 2 more paths? You see them over there? Did you see 6 of us in a dream, not just 4 of us?
There were 2 others, but I didn't see them as well as I saw you. I mean, they were there, but then they weren't. And then these undead came, and it was, it was, it was a nightmare, to be honest.
That sounds like one.
It was a spell. I don't know who cast it, but multiple people don't just have the same dream at the same time.
So you did have the dream. I'm not crazy. Good to know.
The real question is, are you hunters, or do you just enjoy wandering into the mist-filled woods by yourselves?
Oh, I am not, much of a hunter, sir. I'm a musician, actually. And I, pull up my viol. I don't know much about the hunting, per se.
What about you? You serve saloon, I see.
Yes, and she kind of puts her hands in front of her, very proper. I just left the Temple of Saloon where I came from. I'm on a pilgrimage, looking for others like me. And she kind of puts her arms up to show the complexion.
And you're
If
not
I-
on to... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, but I can fight if that makes a difference.
And you there, you're not armed at all. This is hardly the place for you to be.
If you truly think me without a weapon, then I suppose you have greater things to worry about.
Well, what do you do? Do you, like, punch? Do you, use a sling? What do you do?
Well, traditionally, I fight with my fists and my legs.
Interesting. And I'll be honest, I've never heard of a saloon. I've only heard of one god. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever heard of a temple, per se, to a god.
All right.
Where are you from? I mean, temples to gods are everywhere.
I'm from a similar place like this. I grew up in a camp. I don't think we're all from the same place, honestly.
All right. So as you're all conversing, getting to know each other, finding out what you can, gradually the haze and brush begin to give away towards the direction that the cloaked figure was looking in, revealing a bald hilltop. There, atop that hill, stands a grim black tower, the last defiant turret of a long crumbled fortress. Attached to that tower is a 3-story manor house, weather-beaten and veined with ivy. Porch girds the house, its sagging roof sheltering a stout front door that stands open and emits a faint flickering light from it.
Does anyone else get the impression that this is a very elaborate trap?
Well, the mists, they have their own. Well, I've only heard stories, but I kind of want to check that out, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, indeed. Who better to spring the trap than us?
Besides, may save someone walking the road some trouble. Or worst case, there's nothing wrong and we just invaded someone's home.
Right. Shall we go?
Indeed.
All right. So, as you all approach the house, making your way towards the porch that girds the front of it, you begin to see the flickering light from inside beginning to grow brighter as a woman steps out from the front door carrying a lantern. She's looking around and shines it out, and she looks around and stops as she looks at you. She's like, "Oh, hi there. Petra mentioned you all would be coming. I'm Esmeralda. You can call me Ez, though. Come on, then."
Oh, hello.
Oh, you both aren't dead anymore. Give yourself your health back.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Also was a question, do we still have spell slots, or do we use,
It's as if it never happened.
Okay, cool.
Could someone mention that we were coming when we'd never talked to anybody besides the four?
Right. I'm sorry. I should have explained. Petra, she has the gift of sight. She knew you all would be coming here for days. Come on, and I'll explain everything. It's relatively safe for now.
It's safe, she says.
Relatively, and for now.
I mean, I trust anyone with the gift of sight, honestly. But yes, let's go.
Fantastic. This way. And she extends her hand, introducing herself as Esmeralda d'Avenir, and says that you can call her Ez. And as you all begin to approach and follow her into this house, we are going to go ahead and take our break. And when we come back, you all can meet Esmeralda's companion. All right, everybody, so welcome back. You all find yourselves in front of this strange house that seems to have almost materialized out of the mist in front of you all. After sharing a harrowing nightmare experience together, and then awakening in your own beds, finally going about various hints and clues that were left for you that led you to a crossroads where you all met once again. Then being drawn to this house and being met by a young woman who exited from the building, said that she had been expecting you, and then introduced herself to everyone as Ez d'Avenir. So that is where we pick up right now. All of you still just outside the house, on the porch, or kind of hanging out on the front lawn still. And Ez looks out towards you all and says, I understand how very strange this all must be, but you're here now. For whatever reason, whatever fate may have brought you here, you are here now. And I don't know how much you all know about this place, but she kind of looks up at the house around her. But once you're here, there's kind of nowhere else to be.
Well, that's ominous.
She smiles. She says, "I know. I was trying to make it sound spooky. Did it work?"
Oh, yes. Um, I guess. I don't know.
Good. Good, good. Well, come on in. We've established the parlor as a safe spot. The runes in there are really something special. But come on in. I'll introduce you all to Petra, and we can get situated into the parlor.
Can I make an obligatory insight check to see if she's bullshitting us?
Sure, of course. You can't really tell, one way or the other.
Well, I'm not camping in these woods.
It's really dark out here.
Yes, I would imagine it's not very safe, during the dark.
And I'll kind of lag a little bit behind as we're entering the house, and I'd like to just kind of examine the sort of edifice and the wall a little bit to see if anything seems supernatural or very strange to my.
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation or perception check. Okay. With a 13, the main thing that you notice is that the tower that is attached to the outside of this house is very much not of the same construction as the rest of the structure. I'll go ahead and show you that picture again. But that tower is ancient, as opposed to the rest of the house, which is relatively modern. It appears that it has been attached to a much older structure for whatever reason. And aside from that, you can tell that the storm is getting closer. And as the storm gets closer, the space around the house that leads to forest slowly begins to get swallowed up by this encroaching mist. It seems to be following with the storm. So, as you all make your way into the foyer, you can see that there's a lot of supplies, boxes stacked up, equipment of various types. Veronis, you would probably recognize some of this. This is the equipment of investigators, paranormal investigators. Very similar to some of the tools that you would use. But in the foyer here, you can see that there's peeling wallpaper, a very musty scent clings to the walls. There's a curving staircase that rises up from the cracked tile floor to a balcony above, keeping its distance from a dark chandelier that hangs overhead. There's doors leading out of this room in every direction, and at the room's center, there's a bronze sculpture of an antlered eagle perched atop a marble pedestal. Once you're all inside, Ez would scoot around everybody and make her way over here, and then she shouts into the room, "Petra! Petra, they've arrived, just like you said." She kind of pokes her head out and waves you all in.
Shut the door behind me.
As you're shutting it, the last 6 or 7 inches, it feels like something helped you.
I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but keep your wits about you.
I'll say they haven't even ever seen an eagle before. Look at the antlers. There's no antlers on eagles.
It's probably a family crest or something.
Well, then the family's never seen an eagle.
That's fair.
It's really dark in here.
They took the light with them. Ez has a lantern. What the fuck? There's 2 of them in here. Sorry, 1 second. Error.
No, human with no dark vision. Oh no.
There we go. All right. So, seated at the table with what looks like a spirit board in front of her, Her eyes closed as you all make your way into the room. As you all make your way in, says, Petra, Petra, our guests have arrived. And the young woman at the table opens her eyes and she says, Oh, hi everyone, it's wonderful to finally actually meet you in person. My name's Petra, Petra Rilenovich. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
Well, hello? Hi. I've, you know what, the Mists have a interesting way of, influencing things. I'm not gonna question anything.
He says, Yeah, I've kind of gotten that. And as leans over and says, Petra here has been talking about you all for about a few weeks now. It's been very odd. She says that you all are going to help us. I know.
We are?
Says Petra says, "Yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, I'll explain. Ever since I was a little girl, I've seen things as long as I can remember. Some of them not so great. A dark place, shrouded in mist. That's the normal stuff though. And as says hardly normal, you should see your paintings.
Paintings? What paintings?
Petra says, Well, see, when I couldn't really figure out what was going on with these dreams and visions I was having, I started painting them. And it seems like they always kind of have the same theme to them, but people seem to like them. So people bought them and, I gained a little bit of notoriety. And as it says, and that's when I came in. My mentor asked me to come keep an eye on her. And she, of course, knew I was coming, and so we hit it off pretty quick, and we've been running around together ever since. I do my best to keep her out of trouble, and she leads us to places like this one, where we might be able to do some good together.
So, do you live here, or?
They both start laughing together. Like, have you seen this place? Who would live here?
I mean, you never know. I mean, a lot of people could live in. I mean, some people would dream of living in a place like this. I mean, run down, granted, but it's still a 3-story building.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess with some work, it could be pretty nice. Some paint, tear down a wall here or there. But anyways, no one has lived here for a very long time. The house was last owned by a family known as the Halvrists. It's abandoned, and it has quite the reputation for attracting the undead.
Have you encountered any of these undead?
No, we just got here. We're still setting up our little base of operations in here, and she kind of gestures around to this parlor. There's dozens of faded portraits all over the walls. Their subjects' eyes all seem fixed on a circular table at the center that bears the ornate spirit board that Petra was sitting in front of. There is a wide mirror hanging over a tall fireplace on the north wall. And most notably, anybody with any arcane propensity would notice that the room is covered in runes, protective runes, specifically protective runes against the undead.
I see you've been trained.
Yeah, there's a few different runes around the room.
So I didn't do this. Whoever was here last did this. Think it worked? She smiles.
Well, the writing is a little bit sloppy, but they'll do.
Are you
Would-
sure?
Go ahead.
No, I'm just worried about the dream. Our dream? Undead? Ring any bells?
I mean, despite what this little compatriot would say, but slappy handwriting on the rune, I think it'll suffice.
Petra kind of looks around and nods. She says, "Yeah, they seem pretty solid. I mean, better than any other places in this house."
Anyway, as was it Yoruha was saying, uh, we did not come here intentionally. Wherever here is.
Petra nods and she says, I know. Nothing Nothing in the coming weeks is gonna be as planned, I'm afraid. I don't know too much, but Ez pipes up. You mentioned screaming. A lot of screaming. Petra kind of squints. Ez says, well, one way or another, it seems that we are meant to travel together, and as you all managed to meet us here, perhaps you all could start by helping us with our duties here. Ez and I are investigators. Apparently, Ez's mentor wanted us to stay hidden away in some back alley shack somewhere out of sight, but I don't know whoever thought that was going to be an idea, but figured how much trouble could we get into just looking into old haunted houses, right? So, paranormal investigators, together we became.
Well,
This place. Go ahead.
I have some training with the Vistana when it comes to this kind of stuff, so I can help you out.
This is fantastic. Perhaps you can help us with the spirit board. Petra is going to be preparing a seance so we can talk to the spirits around here and see exactly why this place has such a terrible reputation. It seems fine now, but as Petra said, lots of screaming.
Well, shall we get started?
Absolutely. It'll take Petra a while to go ahead and set everything up, and she's safe enough here in this room. Why don't the rest of us go and explore this place? See what we can find out while we wait for Petra.
I would like to stay behind and potentially help Petra get set up just so that the process goes quicker.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and take control of Ez if you want to do that then?
Okay.
One moment.
Well,
Give you over her stat block.
Esmeralda, was it? What do you know about this place?
Says, well, I do know that it was once a part of a different land. It was lifted up and taken somehow, and now it drifts around in, well, I don't really have a name for it, but it's where the mist comes from. It drifts around in there and just plops itself down every now and then in some random place, sometimes in no place at all, like it seems to be now. But the place is a magnet for psychic energies, for spirits, and we'd like to find out why.
Unfortunately, I didn't bring any silvered weapons. I've hit a bit of a slump, you see.
Yeah, we didn't really think of the silvered weapons either. You think we're going to run into any werewolves or anything in here? Certainly hope not.
Well, if we're running into spirits, there's no telling what they'll do.
Gonna gently lean over, like scoot over by Hayes and be like, did they just say werewolves?
I think they did, but I'm not entirely sure about the notion of there being werewolves here. Spirits seem more likely, but I'm not going to be able to do anything about a spirit, so...
Please don't tell me that.
Well, I can't punch them. At least I don't think I can. Does anyone know if I can punch a spirit?
No more than you can punch a sneeze.
And why are we calling them forth then again if we can't do much to them?
There's multiple ways of dealing with spirits. We don't just have to disperse them. necessarily.
We really just want to ask them why they're so angry, too, so.
Wait. We're gonna call on angry spirits?
Well, the screaming didn't happen for nothing.
Perhaps the screaming was the people who last called them. Also, it is terribly dark in here.
Yeah, Ez has the only lantern. If anyone would like, you could acquire your own lantern. Just yeah.
Yes. I was actually about to have Hayes pull out a torch as he was saying that.
Oh, here. Actually, just a moment. Can I find like a loose plank of wood or something?
Sure. Right under your foot.
I'll pull up a board and I'll throw one of these. Whoops.
Are you casting light on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait.
You now will shed light. 20 and 20.
Wait a second. That cast light is a 5-foot bright and a 5-foot dim.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oh
Oh, is
dear.
it not very good? Crap.
It's like a glow stick.
It's like a glow stick.
Medieval glow sticks, man.
All right, Veronis, you now shed light.
All right. Well, look. Runes can only do so much. As you see, Veronis has carved a small rune of magic into the board, causing it to emit light. But it doesn't burn oil, and it won't run out, so...
He's just gonna look at his torch, then look at the faintly glowing board. Yes. I'm sure.
Oh, Hayes.
Hmm?
I meant to tell you. Non-magical sources of fire do not work in here. Your torch would have extinguished the moment that you tried to bring fire up to it.
What?
Oh, yes. What torch was that again?
Oh, apparently it's very fickle in here.
Hayes, as that happens, Ez would pass you a lantern. She says that her and Petra had a few of these made before they left. These have a continual flame spell cast on them. You have it? Where's it?
Yes, let me just
There we
check
go.
it out. That is peculiar. I'm not sure I like it in here.
You're not supposed to like it.
Veronis, the part of the floor beneath your foot where you pulled the board up from, it glistens strangely in the light, the part where it broke from.
The
Appears to-
wood or something beyond the floor?
It appears that the wood, the part of the plank that you broke off, appears to be bleeding a little bit.
Oh. Well, I found something paranormal.
You may wish to bandage that.
How odd. Have I
Say you're
encountered
sorry.
anything like this before?
So, just a quick point of order. Do not worry, Aurelia. We will be jumping back to you and Petra every now and then.
Hey, that's fine.
Okay. But for now, Ez would approach and kneel down in front of it, kind of lift it up in the light, and she says, "Yeah, that's blood."
Can I kind of reach into the hole, see if, I don't know, maybe there's like a corpse or something there?
So, roll a d20 for me, please, as you reach into that hole.
Cool.
Oh. Bad sign. Roll a d20.
For the scream.
That's my favorite die.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, Veronis, as you're reaching around down there, you don't feel anything at first, but then your hand lands on something small, about 2 inches or so, and as your hand touches on it, it bites you. And you lift your hand up, and on the end of your draconic kobold finger is what looks like a segmented worm. It has sharp like almost like saw blade like teeth, but they're tiny, so it's just more annoying than painful as they gnaw on the end of your finger as you lift it up out of the hole.
I'll stomp on it.
It makes a satisfying crunch.
Ugh. That wasn't paranormal.
No, but it was gross.
It might have been a spirit worm.
It could be spirits.
Honestly, I was hoping it was a mouse, but I suppose we'll have to do. So, Yorha, do you wish to stick your hand in the mysterious hole and see if you can pull something out?
I want to make so many jokes.
You see, I have what people call common sense. No, thank you.
As
Look, you don't
nods
discover anything
appreciatively.
by taking no risks.
You also don't get bit on the finger.
I've had worse.
Your belly to your upper right shoulder throbs
Yeah.
a little bit.
I've had worse. By the way, Esmeralda, have you seen, well, something that may be a vampire?
Her normally kind of exuberant, playful expression hardens immediately. She says, No, I can't say that I have. Have you?
Well,
I think so.
hard to be completely sure, but a humanoid with bat wings seems a bit telling, doesn't it?
She nods, looks around. Says, Thankfully, I don't think the house would appreciate. She shakes her head. Never mind. If you confirmed see a vampire, please let me know and let Petra know as quickly as you can. Very important.
Esmeralda, does this house have a connection to vampires?
Says, let's begin our search. I'll explain as we go. And she kind of points at the 3 doors. Dealer's choice.
You said one of the doors?
Yep, there are 3 doors in this room. I'll ping them for you all. Door. 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 And then, of course, the stairs leading up.
Let's not forget the front door and we can just leave.
You could certainly try.
Alright, well... oh. I think I took Esmeralda's lantern. Well, I'll try this door.
The door slowly begins to creak open. Your gentle push doesn't seem like it would be enough to send it open the rest of the way, but it still creaks loudly. It's a closet.
Oh no.
No haunted coats in here.
Lots of moth-eaten black cloaks up on a high shelf. Looks like there's a hat box up there.
Yoruha, why don't you try that one?
Yeah, sure. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. And she's gonna slowly open the door if she can.
Okay. Appears to open up into a hallway. Makes a bit of an L intersection.
I really wish I was like other half-elves and could see in the dark.
Worry not. If we come across a spirit, I'll be sure to furiously wave my hands at it.
So as they begin to make their way into that hallway, we're going to go back to Aurelia and Petra for a brief moment. So Petra is setting up all of her various instruments and charms to perform her seance, candles, little pamphlets, various other little things like that. So as she begins doing that, she would look up towards you, Aurelia, and say, "So, Vistana, are you?"
Yes. I am not of the camps of the more infamous Vistana, but yes, I am one of them.
She nods and says, "I've seen a lot of the Vistani in my dreams, visions, whatever you want to call them. I have lots of different paintings. Maybe I've painted one of your family members. She kind of smiles like a half smile.
Well, possibly. I haven't traveled too far. To be honest, I've only been to maybe one or two places, but that's really it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same for me. I've only really been to a couple places. The village where I grew up, and then spent a little while in Waterdeep before Ez found me.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I've ever been farther, I would say, than maybe Mordant, but that's really it.
Ez has mentioned the place a couple of times before. Not a very nice place, from what I understand.
Nope. I mean, it's got some nice rivers and all, but not really you know, a very fancy or a very I would say a beautiful place. I mean,
Insanely aristocratic is, I believe, the way that Ez put it.
probably. I've only been to a few places. It's very I mean, the towns are kind of pretty. Unfortunately, maybe the mist, dampen out the beauty of the sky and all, but the buildings are pretty.
All right. She would go back to the business of setting up her instruments and whatnot. So she would assure you that she could set this up on her own if you'd like her to, but she could definitely use the company. Place is kind of creepy if you'd like to stay with her. Okay. All right, so the rest of you open up the door into that hallway. More doors.
Would you like to go first, or should I?
The one who said you're a hunter, right? So you should probably go first.
All right. Didn't the temple train you in these sorts of situations?
I mean, yes, but this is my first pilgrimage out on my own, actually.
Oh. Well,
Door to the south. Door here. Door here. This is a long hallway with several doors. There's another one here and two more up at the termination point at the end.
kind of, is there a rock or something nearby?
There's probably little bits and pieces of detritus on the floor, yeah.
Just something I want to chuck it down the hallway.
Okay. It clatters along the floor.
Well, the important thing is that you can't lose your rationality. Everything has an explanation and a solution. Fear is the enemy.
I mean, you are your worst enemy, technically.
Be quiet, voice in my head.
We'll say Ez would have said that. So, Hannah, you've gotten a good idea of how Ez acts and how her mannerisms and whatnot. You can go ahead and roleplay her if you'd like to as well.
Oh my god. Alright.
If you'd like to, you don't have to.
No, I won't. I don't want to spoil anything just in case, so I'm
Okay.
not going to try and role player.
Okay, no worries.
By the way, I wasn't telling you, the player, to be quiet, just to be clear.
Oh, no, yeah, I assumed it was your voice in your head. Like, okay, dude.
But, I'll try the door to my south.
Like the other doors in this place, it is not locked and does easily open. This is a gallery. As you are looking in, there's moody landscapes and dour busts atop marble pedestals. Seem to be collecting dust in this modest place. There's an alcove to the east. Stands a larger-than-life onyx statue of an athlete wrestling monstrous disembodied tentacles. To the west, a wall made of black stone curves into this room, an arch opening into a darkened space beyond it.
This is the tower. Esmeralda, did you notice about this tower?
She would respond and say, yeah, we noticed it when we were first coming up. From what we can tell, this place used to be a fortress. The records are pretty shoddy. We weren't able to find out too much, but it was a fortress. There was some sort of major war or battle that happened in the land where this place originated, where it was before it got ripped up and dropped somewhere else. But this is a remnant, the last remnant, at least as far as we know, of the fortress that once stood here.
Looking at the threshold, does it look like these were two buildings that were smashed up together, or there was some attempt to build them together?
Make a investigation check. Okay. So it does appear that the structure you are currently standing in was built up and around the tower. Like somebody might have seen the tower here and decided, you know what, this place needs a house.
Fair. Well, it's certainly the most likely place for paranormal activity.
A gust of wind blows through the tower towards you as you say that.
Can I just take a quick look at the busts? Are there names on them?
Okay. So a couple of them do have names on them. Various names ending in the name Halvrist. As Esmeralda mentioned earlier, that is the names of the previous owners of the house. It appears to be busts of their family.
Right. Before I step through the threshold, I want to check for traps.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check. Okay. Yeah, you don't see any arcane runes, no tripwires, nothing like that that would set off any alarm bells for you?
Well, there goes nothing.
Okay. So it seems like a perpetual wind is blowing through this area, moans through the open interior of this tower attached to the manor. Stairs curve from the floor to circle the dark granite walls and vanish into a chamber high above.
Will you be joining me, or...
As we kind of pop her head in and be like, so you really want to start this whole thing off by going up the Doom Tower of Darkness and Scary? She kind of pokes her head into the room and looks up.
Doom and Scare? I thought you were an investigator.
I didn't say I was a brave one.
You know, if this were a story, this would be where the end of the book is.
Blast.
No one
She would
talk
step
about the
in with
creepy
you, though.
tentacles.
Do you wish to talk about the creepy tentacles? Because I would rather ignore them.
I'm just saying, whoever made this place, they've never seen an eagle, and apparently they like to grapple tentacles.
I mean, that just sounds like a good time to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, creepy tower it is.
Damn, it sure echoes in here.
Just just a voice in your head. Just a voice in your head.
Kind of go over here and just kind of test my weight on the staircase. Does it fall apart?
It does not. It seems relatively sturdy.
Alright.
Relative to what?
How high does the chamber above start? 10, 20 feet?
It appears to go all the way up past the third story of the building, so at least 40 feet up.
Okay, it's a guard tower. There's just a lookout up top. There's nothing to be afraid of. I will kind of keep an eye to the ground for traps, though.
Okay. So, Veronis, you're noticing that as you ascend, the wind begins to pick up a little bit, growing stronger the higher up you go.
He says nothing to be afraid of, and then he also saw that bat-like thing come to look this way.
Fear is the enemy.
Well, the enemy's strangling me in my throat, in my chest, alright?
So, Veronis and Yoruha, the staircase just continues to spiral upwards. The wind getting progressively more powerful, pushing against you, almost like a physical force pushing against you the farther up you go.
I suppose the storm is getting close.
So, Veronis, as you proceed, Yoruha directly behind you, you can notice that the wind is just becoming overwhelming. And then you hear a woman's scream. Starts up overhead, drops, and then suddenly rushes past you, the screaming fading into the distance below. Hayes and Ez from down below would look up towards the sound of the scream. The sound would travel down and then immediately stop right in front of the two of them. As soon as the scream stops, a massive wind picks up. I need Yoruha and Veronis to make strength saving throws.
Oh, I'm good at those.
Oh no.
Veronis, you are stopped dead in your tracks. You cannot proceed any farther up. The wind is too powerful. It has stopped you like a brick wall. Yoruha, with a 13, you can feel your grip on the stone beneath your feet beginning to give. Feel yourself sliding, the wind about to pick you up and off your feet. Would you like to use your 21?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Just before you are lifted bodily up and off of the staircase, you plant your feet, find an extra reserve of strength, and manage to keep yourself up on the staircase without being thrown off by these extreme winds. You do find yourselves unable to proceed any further, though.
There's some kind of spell. We can't get any closer.
And if I stay on this for very much longer, I think I'm going to follow down that scream. Can we go down, please?
Yes, I'd like to see if there was a body.
There's going to be if you stay up there.
I
can hear you.
Just the image of the spectral stream coming down, and then a few seconds later, a real one.
Hayes, you might not be able to punch a spirit, but I can punch you.
See, I didn't climb up the stairs.
And fear was the enemy.
I have to.
Oh no. You have to what?
I couldn't not make the Dune reference anymore.
Oh.
The stairs were actually just a snake the whole time. Roll for initiative. Time to die.
Oh, I just saw the Discord.
All right, so as you all are up in that tower with Ez, making your way up and then back down, Aurelia, Any new developments in your conversation with Petra?
Uh, I would probably offer to like turn on a lantern, and then
Oh,
maybe
is there no light in there? The place that room is well lit. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I wouldn't do anything else, to be honest. I would just continue helping her out.
Okay. All right. Back to everyone in the tower.
I don't think this is purely spiritual. There's magic around.
Our spirit's not inherently magical.
It's complicated. I would like to take a minute, if I may, and do a ritual cast of Detect Magic.
I would like to make my own test. Probably a very stupid one.
Oh no.
In fact, so stupid that I might request that everybody get out of the tower.
At least you have everyone's safety in mind.
Yes.
So
I'm not going to walk up and do this
Nothing
with
like a
everybody
little
here.
stupidity in D&D.
So Varanus, we'll let you know what you detect in just a moment, since you're both doing ritual castings at the same time.
Then I'll do the ritual out here if he's going to try something weird.
Okay.
So, I would like to punch the wall.
Okay.
Because I have a theory. Potentially a game theory.
Okay.
What would you want me to roll?
That would just be an unarmed strike against the wall.
Hell yeah, time to miss. Oh.
This man really just hit us with a game theory. Goddamn.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
Bludged in the wall.
Okay. Yeah, nothing happens. You have punched a stone wall. You have hit.
Okay, so the wall didn't start screaming. The
It-
tower didn't start screaming. Spirits didn't start falling from the roof. The wind didn't act up, so I have a feeling that the bleeding floorboard is not related to this tower. Or maybe it is, and I'm just an idiot.
I mean, you could always try and pry a stone up from the stone floor if you really want to test that theory.
That's a fair point. I would like to, while he is the ritual casting detect magic, so probably while you're explaining that to him, if there's anything, I would like to look around to see if there's any loose stones.
Yeah, there's plenty of loose stones in the floor and the walls.
Let me see if I can prize out something sizable enough then.
Varanus, you get a heaping, massive, almost overwhelming presence of necromancy here.
Am I? From everything?
Everything.
Oh boy. Oh, this is not good.
Ez kind of peeks over and says, I kind of figured y'all would guess the place was haunted.
No, it's not just a structure that's haunted. This house is magical in its entirety.
She nods.
Necromantic magic. I think the house itself is possessed.
She nods and she says, during my research into the mists and the different places within it, I have heard that a place like this could become its own entity. So it's possible. Certainly not unheard of.
And the floorboard was bleeding. It's
Yeah,
almost like this.
She says that's definitely not the first time that she's seen that. Pretty common in haunted houses.
Oh, well. I mean, granted, of course, but Do I get any other traces of magic?
No. What's the distance? 30 feet?
Yes.
Nope. I was just measuring to Petra because you would have gotten divination from her, but that's about it.
If I do a quick jaunt, not all the way up, but so I'm within 30 feet of the floor, do I get any other, like, evocation, anything like that?
No.
Okay. Alright, well. Mystery abounds. Perhaps we should see what else there is.
Hayes, any more experimentation on your end?
Well, I've been prying out stones to see if elicits any form of reaction.
No. No reaction from the stones being pulled up.
Do they bleed?
Stones? No, the stones do not bleed.
But do the stones count as the magic stone cantrip? That's the real question.
More like magic brick at that stage.
Does there seem to be any spots where the mortar in the walls seems to be like eroding at all? Maybe.
Make a perception check.
Yeah, it's time to perceive. I'm just trying to piss this tower off. Why is it so hard? Oh, yes. I see rocks.
You do indeed see rocks. Nothing particularly stands out to you as you look around the various walls here.
Wait, did the wind start gusting once they hit a certain spot of the stairs?
Did.
Hayes is going to toss the stone up at that point.
Okay.
To see if there's like a threshold or something crosses it.
Okay. So yeah, you throw it up. And it seems that once it keeps going up and up and up and up and up until it hits 30 feet and then abruptly shoots back down towards you as a massive gust of wind hit it.
Well, that actually gave me some information. So, even non-living objects cannot cross that point. Interesting.
But the wind doesn't seem to be blowing when there's nothing there.
Correct. It's a constant breeze blowing through this area, a constant wind, but it doesn't become powerful in any way until something crosses that threshold up there.
I suppose the question is it a conscious action or an automatic action?
You all hear the screaming start at the top of the tower again. Fall towards you all with no visual, no actual entity falling. The scream approaches you all, passes through the floor in front of you both before the sound stops.
One final test that does not involve me climbing up the wall and getting myself killed to fall damage. Hayes is going to pull out a sling out of his pack. And he's going to take 2 stones, and he's going to toss one of the stones up at that point, and he's going to toss another one, like, following up to see if it is, like, a persistent effect, if there's, like, a window. And regardless of whether, like, what he learns out of this, he's going out of the tower, because, we can only stay so long in the tower.
All right. Your experiment does reveal that it is a triggered event. The moment something passes by that space, the wind picks up and gusts in that extreme way. It did not wait for the second stone to go up. The first stone went up, and once it hit that 30-foot mark, the wind pushed it back down, including the other stone. Which is why Varanus set it off, and it affected both Varanus and Iruha.
Interesting. Anyways,
If it's a conscious act, maybe we can find something in here to distract that consciousness.
We just don't piss off the tower.
Who stole my lantern?
There you are.
Thank you. Um, Honestly, pissing off the tower seems quite entertaining, because frankly, this house seems a little bit more dangerous.
Easy for you to say, I almost fell.
You almost fell, but... And then Hayes immediately points to the tentacle statue thing. We don't know what this does.
So don't touch it.
Or we can touch it and see what it does.
You know what? That's a brilliant idea. Let me walk out of the room and you can touch it.
What's the worst that can happen?
According to earlier, I don't have any differential magic aura on this statue.
Correct.
Doesn't mean it's not haunted. It just means it's not magical. Actually, I would like to actually investigate the statue a little bit closer.
Okay. Upon closer inspection, go ahead and make a perception check first.
Perception or investigation?
Whichever you prefer.
Okay, because perception is higher. Hell yeah.
Yeah, good job. So as you're going over and looking at it, you don't notice too much, but one thing does catch your eye. The tentacles don't seem to be originating from anywhere, and as you look over the statue, this man seems to be wrestling with tentacles that are bursting from his own mouth.
Because I'm a gamer, can I touch them?
Sure. Nothing happens.
This is probably why you and Veronis fucking nearly died in my dream.
Well, listen, I nearly died because I was trying to keep you from getting swarmed.
Seems a bit selfish to call it your dream, doesn't it?
Dan, stop touching everything.
I don't know you were into this sort of artwork, Hayes.
I'm not. I was just wondering if this was something extraplanar. Or
It's stone.
otherwise.
As you touch it, you lift your hand away. It feels like it might be just the tiniest bit damp. Maybe like it was sitting out in the morning dew or something. But it's not slimy or anything.
It's like really humid in here.
Actually quite cool.
There's a part of me who's really tempted in just putting holes in the walls to see what happens. Perhaps we should go further down the hallway.
As you say that, would say, well, we already know the place is haunted. Are you just trying to figure out just how badly haunted it is?
It's more just morbid curiosity at this point. Do you wish to deal with the haunting, or do you wish to communicate with the spirits? Because you didn't do much in the tower, did you?
No. Doesn't really seem to be much to ask. A screaming lady in a strong wind. I really just want to figure out why they're here, why they're haunting it.
And perhaps it's just a lovely abode. Or perhaps they just love the architecture, or the statue, or...
She kind of makes a grimacing face at the tentacle statue.
Would you like to take this one, Hayes?
Sure. I shall open this door.
Okay. It opens up into a sitting room. This appears to be a small library.
Ooh, books. Well, I wouldn't even know where to begin with books. could sit here and read these all night, but I'm sure it wouldn't give us any further information. Unless, of course, any of you can pick anything out.
Can I just give a quick rundown of the spines and see the sort of general subject matter that these books cover?
Yes, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Bonus points if one is covered in human skin.
Are any of them flesh-bound?
Oh no.
That would be a negative. None of them are currently flesh-bound. At least what you can tell with from your 15. They appear to be on various different subjects, ranging from history with a 15. 15, Veronis, you do notice various histories. Sorry, I'm 15 is good. 15 is good, especially for level 1. With the 15, Veronis, you do notice that there's a section, and several of the books seems to be on a place called Barovia. The name may ring bells for some of you, may not.
Would I have heard of Barovia?
Make a history check. You've heard the name before, Veronis, especially in your hunt of the vampires, but the exact nature of the place, and especially its more intricate history, is a mystery to you.
Does Barovia ring a bell to anyone?
Should I roll to see if anything comes up in yield memory?
So there's a mechanic for that, isn't it? With the reborn, about remembering your past experiences.
Yeah. I have to roll. Let's see. You can roll a d6 immediately after. Oh wait, hold on.
Technically speaking, you can make a history check and roll a d6 on top of it.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, go for it.
All right.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's an 8 plus a d6. So
Right,
it
roll
could
that
be
d6
worse.
up. Let's see what you get.
So a 9.
Oh, didn't like it. Hold on.
Oh well, never mind. It's too late.
Okay. With a 10, it's a strange memory. You get shrouded forests, howling wolves. This place is definitely familiar to you, but you just cannot grasp onto the memories of why or anything specific.
When he asks if anything's familiar, you guys do see Yoruha kind of look off into the distance. It's one of those, almost like she's scanning her memories, and she kind of blinks and shakes her head and goes, I couldn't say.
Probably one of those far eastern countries. They do tend to run together slightly.
Only they're fond of wolves?
Oh yes, a self-help book about a place called Castle Ravenlift.
Oh my god.
I thought it was Crowhoff. Whatever.
Crow off. God.
I swear.
You are one of these.
Can I? So I'll take one of these random books on Barovia, and I'd like to grab my cane and give it a quick twist so that the dagger pops out. And I'd want to stab this book.
This man is stabbing books.
Yeah.
You know what we could also do? As this is happening, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Hayes is probably going to shout out of the hallway because honestly, Aurelia is not too far away.
No, she's not.
As well as the other NPC whose name immediately just escaped my mind.
Petra.
Oh.
Petra Relinovich.
Yeah.
So, what do you two know about a Barovia, if you do? Or, actually, Aurelia, if at all possible, could you maybe come in here and check these books if any of them seem potentially useful to you? Because
Yes, I am on the way. And as I make my way over, can I do a history check to see what I know about Borovia?
Absolutely. Do so at advantage, please.
13?
13. Okay. You know that it is the domain of an ancient vampire.
Oh.
You know that it is the domain of an ancient vampire. You know that it is one of the domains that the Vistani are capable of going through. And Aurelia, you would know that it is the place that your people originate from. Outside of that, I don't think there'd be much knowledge.
Okay. Well, all I know is this is where my people are from, and well, I think a vampire is here. If that helps you, I don't know much about the Barovia, as you would think.
hmm,
Can, let's see, Yuruha and Hayes please make insight checks for me
inside checks. Can't believe the book was a mimic the whole time.
real quick.
Inside. Oh my god, these rolls tonight. Oh my god, these rolls!
1111, make a wish.
Okay. So you don't notice anything immediately. But, Yuruha, you do notice that Ez takes a step away from you all for a brief moment. Kind of pokes her head around the corner into the parlor room. Right here. Kind of pokes her head up there, checks on Petra, and then heads back to the doorway that you're all in.
Okay.
She has a concerned look on her face, and she says, yeah. Anywhere might have histories on a place like that, right?
I guess so.
Yes, but not everywhere has an ancient vampire.
I mean, it depends on where you look.
I mean, in some places it could be harder to find a vampire as opposed to others, you know?
Name definitely gives my head an ache.
By the way, I'm assuming that this book didn't start bleeding when I stabbed
The
it.
book did indeed not start bleeding.
Okay.
It just got stabbed like any other book would get stabbed.
All right, I'll put it back.
Do I notice the stab of the book, by the way?
I like to think that Varan is just standing there with his knife in a book, looking around, like waiting for something to happen.
Oh yeah, he didn't try to hide it. He just pulled out his little. You see that now that he has his cane head pops off and there's a concealed dagger inside of it.
Varanus, what are you doing to the books?
I wanted to see if it would bleed like the floor did.
What? Do you just stab everything you see?
If I suspected of being undead, yes.
What reason do you have to suspect the book of being undead? I don't think the leather started speaking.
Well, this entire house is undead as far as my ritual was able to determine. I wanted to see if it extended to the objects in the house.
You know, you are a very interesting character. And I'm gonna look over to the books and see if I find anything interesting to myself.
Okay.
I doubt a 10's gonna be able to do anything to see.
Yeah, various histories, encyclopedias of far off places, things like that.
See, it's all relatively interesting. Probably not something to stab over, but who do I know?
Well, what's done is done, and it doesn't get us any closer to figuring out what happened to him.
This is true. I mean, we are making our way in terms of the ritual, so if that's anything to go by.
What was the highest passive perception among the party again? Specifically between Hayes, Aurelia, and Veronis?
I think it was 14.
Yeah,
mine's
mine's only
14.
11.
I am perceptive.
So, as you all are having this conversation about the books, you all fail to notice a spindly, white skinned arm with too many elbows bisecting at weird spaces, turning at odd angles as it makes its clawed handed way out of the fireplace. You all notice it just as it rises up and above Veronis, as this hand reaches out from the fireplace and swipes at him. Veronis does a 14 hit.
No.
This
It
hand,
bashes at
you
the back of my
turn
armor.
You turn just in time to see this strange arm reaching entirely too far, multiple elbow joints bending and twisting as it reaches out. You turn just in time to see this arm slash at the air right behind you, grazing your armor as it yanks back into the fireplace, into the chimney, and you all hear the cackling, maniacal laughter of an old woman echoing through the flue system.
I believe we found our poltergeist.
Was that an old lady?
I love the description of too many elbows. Like, ugh. Like, I read that, I was like, ah, no.
R/brand new sentence.
Right?
So, upstairs then?
Well, I was considering climbing up the fireplace, but that seems like a better option.
Come on then.
Ez would ask if you're sure you don't want to finish exploring the first floor before heading upstairs. Seems the closer to Petra and the safe room, the better, at least for now.
Is Petra, are you almost finished?
She says, oh, I'm sorry, I only need about another 10, 15 minutes or so and we'll be ready for the first seance.
Yes, well, we've been introduced to our host, so we'll have to hope they give us that much time.
Wait, what?
Excuse me, what?
That's right. A couple people didn't see that happen.
You didn't... The hand.
Yes.
The laugh. You heard the laugh. You asked me about the laughter.
I did, but like... Do you really want to go upstairs after a old woman was catcalling at you?
I intend to kill it, whatever it is.
It's
You
already
intend to
dead.
kill a older lady?
Did you not see the old lady?
No, I just heard the laughter. I didn't see a old lady.
There was an arm 15 feet long that came out of the fireplace. That's not an old woman.
I mean, there are some old women with, clearly deformed arms. You don't know that.
All right. I'm going to...
What? Hold on. An arm 15 feet and an old lady laughing. Are you guys okay? Are you sure?
I
you're
mean,
okay?
I'm okay. I don't know about our friend here, but I'm okay. I just heard a laugh.
Ez is just taking notes in a little flip book that she has. 15 feet, elbows, old lady. Just taking notes.
I am not crazy, and I'm going to figure out what's going on here.
We're crazy, but never heard of something that big before either.
I mean, considering of where you were standing, it was 15 feet long. Where did it come from again?
The fireplace.
Meaning it was longer.
You're free to stick your head up the flue if you want to check for yourself.
Oh, certainly.
Do you want me to sneeze constantly if I stick my head up a fireplace?
I will stick my head up the fireplace. What do I see?
This right here.
Oh, that's the fireplace. Got it.
Indeed.
What?
Peek around the corner.
As you
Unexpectedly.
all see Hayes taking a look up the fireplace, Yoruha and you know what? All three of you that are not Hayes, as Hayes is looking up, make perception checks for me.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Feeling like the kid who just told him to lick the frozen flagpole.
Is this gonna be my fly you fools moment? This is gonna be my fly you fools moment, isn't it?
So, as Hayes is looking through, you're all kind of doing the thing where you're like trying to look up from the far distance, like leaning over as far as you can, and nobody notices the little ember ignite at the base of the fireplace. But you all do notice a faint laughter begin again as that cackling rings through and the fireplace ignites into a massive burst of flame. Hayes, unable to avoid this, no one able to notice it, you do take 5 points of fire damage.
Ooh. Well, you know what? Time for me to edit this HeroForge that I don't have eyebrows and I don't have hair.
Oh, I did not expect that to happen.
The cackling
gonna
laughter
walk
fades off
over.
again.
Yoruha walks over, grabs him by the shoulders, and just yanks him backwards. Do you have another death wish?
Well, excuse me for not expecting a fire in a fireplace with no fire.
I mean, frankly, sir, I would have to agree. You still seem to have a bit of a wish for death.
No, I simply wish to get to the bottom of this so I can leave this fucking house.
Does anyone else wish to call me crazy, or are you satisfied?
No,
Call you crazy.
you are crazy, but I am satisfied.
Ez calls, guys, did any of you bring cupcakes? You see her looking down the hallway and shining her lantern down the other end of the hall.
Excuse me?
I'm not
I
going to
am-
eat the damnable things if that's what you're asking.
So you didn't bring them.
Madame, I am not a baker.
Huh. Veronis, as you make your way out of the hallway, you see what she's talking about. At the end of the hall, right here, is a single cupcake. Berry chocolate, dark, sitting on the floor, wrapped in one of those little cupcake skirts.
I don't enjoy being played with. I want to try to hit it with a crossbow.
make a weapon attack.
This
Does the
man is
cupcake
stabbing
count in
fruits.
from-
He's trying to stab a wall. Next
like
thing you
that.
know, he's shooting a cupcake.
I would like to argue that the cupcake is prone, but
18 will hit. 18 will hit the cupcake. So it just thuds against the wall and it sticks up. There's like a quarter of an inch off the ground, an arrow sticking it into the door right behind it. So there is now a cupcake with an arrow through it stuck to this door near the floor.
I honestly didn't think that was a real cupcake.
it might be a real cupcake, but that doesn't mean it's safe.
Did you just shoot the cupcake?
Yes, and I hit it too. It was a pretty good shot.
You know what? Yeah, I'm just not gonna question things anymore.
You probably shouldn't, considering the fireplace spontaneously combusted and blew up my face.
I'm surprised you still have hair, to be honest.
I'm
There's like a
surprised
little
I'm
bit on the
alive.
back.
I'm a friar talking.
All right. Let's follow Esmeralda's advice and finish exploring this floor, but we'll get ready to head upstairs and deal with it.
Well, we will have a seance to do before we go upstairs, but
Very well. Although this doesn't seem like a conversational sort of apparition?
As says, well, I think we just need to find the right ones. There seems to be quite a few here.
If it is all the same to you all, I am going to go lay down. Because this hurts quite a bit.
Oh, come here, you big baby.
No. 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 I don't know what you're going to do, but it's probably better saved for whatever is upstairs or whatever came out of the fireplace. Or whatever's in that tower. Perhaps.
Ez would inform you all that they do expect to be here for several days.
And Hayes is going to hold out his lantern towards Jorah.
And she's going to cup your cheek and give you 5 lay on hands because you get to suffer as much as she does. You're not laying down, you're coming with us.
This is robbery.
Yes.
My chance of rest and respite.
I mean, you'll be okay. I mean, trust us. You'll be fine.
A fireplace just blew up in my face.
I mean, a lot worse can happen than fire blowing up in your face and you having little hair left, but you know.
True, instead of being terribly wounded, I could have just died.
Agreed.
Well, you won't have to shave for a couple days now.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
You know, I have a disguise kit. I have, should I cut off the last bit of hair that's, on the back of your head here? So that you're perfectly bald.
Perhaps. Would you like a cupcake?
To be honest, I don't know if I want the cupcake from this building, but I wouldn't be opposed to a sweet treat every now and then, so it's up to you.
I'm sure it's delicious if you get the crossbow bolt out of it.
Eh,
Actually, now that I think about it, did we ever investigate that statue in depth?
oh no.
The tentacle one?
No, not the tentacle one. The weird one with the hawk and the horns and the...
No, I don't think anyone ever gave it a good, solid investigate. Retroactively, though, I will allow someone to make a nature check. We'll say somebody proficient in nature, if anyone is.
Not me.
I used to be. Not anymore.
No, I'm not proficient in nature. I can grapple the statue.
I'll make one anyway, just in case.
Okay, a 20 is certainly enough. Aurelia, you would recognize that creature from a book that you may have read some time ago. It is the statue of a Periton. Those creatures do very much exist.
Okay.
Yeah, in your face, you're,
I believe, this... What is up?
Go ahead.
I believe this statue you're wondering about is a Petterington. Some sort of creature I read about. I've never seen one. But they do exist.
do they haunt houses?
To be honest, I got no idea. They're just strange, creatures.
Seems terribly impractical for a bird to have antlers.
I mean, jackalopes exist, and, it would be impractical for a rabbit to have horns in general.
More like status symbols.
Probably. I don't know. I've only just read about the thing. I don't know if they're family crest or not.
Have you ever
So-
considered why dragons have horns?
I don't know. To be honest, I've never really put too much thought into it.
Yes, well, lest we forget that we are currently under assault from a apparition of some kind.
I mean, You were nearly swiped at, as you proclaim, and he got himself lit a fire. So I don't know if all of us are under duress, but
Well, I didn't expect him to actually do it. I
I
thought it
mean,
was pretty obvious that it was a terrible suggestion.
you
Don't
are alive
worry.
after all, aren't you?
Mostly.
You can open the door.
Don't worry. Your
Okay, the one right here?
point. So,
Ah, yes, let the half elf who does not have any way to see in front of. Oh my god.
I have a lantern, and I'm helping you see. If you would like, I can go in first.
What did you find?
Mm. What did I find? Because that doesn't look pleasant.
That is another sitting room. There are taxidermied animals all over the walls. Bearskin rug on the floor. It appears to be a polar bear. Several different variety of creatures. There is also a taxidermy table. Looks like the person might have been in the middle of stuffing a deer's head.
Oh,
Hmm.
The cupcake is stapled to that door, by the way. Just point of order.
Is that a taxidermy spider on the map?
It is.
Hmm.
What?
Nope.
Madame, are you okay?
Don't like dead animals.
You know, all things considered, I would be fine being in here if it weren't for the fact that, well, this is a haunted house and these are kind of dead.
What do you mean, kind of? Are they dead or are they not dead?
Well, I'm not sure. Would you like to test?
well, I actually find it rather reassuring. I mean, these are properly dead. Not.
I mean, I
How do
could
you know?
test them. I wouldn't be opposed.
Last I checked, the fire was dead.
Yeah, that's true.
My father had a room like this. He didn't have quite the exotic affair.
Aurelia, from your seat on that couch, it's oddly facing away from the fireplace. From your seat there, it looks as if whoever did this designed this the seats location and the aesthetic of the room so that when you were sitting here, your vision was entirely full of taxidermied heads. The spider is in your field of view, various creatures. It's almost as if sitting there you can see all of the different creatures that this place has to offer, with the exception of a very large boar's head directly behind you over the fireplace.
Okay. Thranis, I suggest you get out of the room. To be honest, I'm gonna try and do something.
Oh boy.
Uh, well, all right. Do keep an eye on the fireplace.
That's what.
You know.
That's my plan. You're good. I would like to cast Mage Hand and see if I can touch the boar's head
Okay,
on
are
top of the
you
fireplace.
facing it or do you have your back to it while you do this?
I'm gonna have my back to it while I use my Mage Hand.
Okay. Okay. So as the mage hand drifts up and away behind you, Aurelia, you get the sudden and inescapable feeling that you are being watched. Something close behind you, staring down at you. Your mage hand drifts closer to the boar's head. What do you instruct your mage hand to do?
I would simply instruct it to touch the snout of the boar.
Okay. You get, as soon as your mage hand makes contact, you get the sudden shriek of a live boar in excruciating pain. It's so fast and so sudden that you're almost convinced it didn't happen at all. The rest of you do not hear this. Aurelia, startled, you turn around to look at the creature, to look at not the creature, the boar's head on the wall, and staring back at you are two very human eyes, where those boar's eyes should be. Bloodshot, red around the edges, almost as if fresh blood was coming from them. They stare at you in panic.
Well, go ahead.
What do you? No, go ahead. What do you do?
I am simply gonna walk out of the room and be like, well, it's a good thing I have a mage hand because that boar is terrifying.
Oh, are you sure you're not crazy?
Anyone else that looks into the room would see two glass marbles where its eyes should be now.
I
Really,
mean,
if you were to look back and see it again, you would also see two black glass eyes where the eyes should be instead of those very human eyes.
oh. Well, I suggest you touch it yourself if you want an experience. That's quite horrifying. But I will not be going back into that room.
You know, boars are herbivores, right? They don't. I mean, they're not. Well, they can be dangerous. Anyway, we don't have time.
Right? Ever seen Game of
I
Thrones?
Yes.
Houses don't usually bleed. So I don't think we're going by actual order here.
I should probably shut that door though, in case our grabby host decides to revisit us.
Don't worry, I'm sure this house is going to close its own doors.
The door slams.
Well, speaking of closed doors,
There are two doors up here, one directly to the north and one in the eastern wall.
Well, I'd like to kneel down and pull my crossbow bolt out of the door.
Okay. As you
It's
pull
still-
out the crossbow bolt, it seems to have impaled something other than just a cupcake. There is what looks to be a human thumb stuck on the end of your crossbow bolt, covered in chocolate.
Did anyone drop this? I'll hold it up. No. Esmeralda, has anyone else been in this house recently that you're aware of?
She calls out to you, no. According to our investigations, it looks like it's been at least a good 100 years since anyone's been in here.
I wonder who this belongs to. Alright, well,
it's not mine.
don't have much use for a thumb, so I'll pop it off and kind of throw it on the floor.
Okay. It makes a nice little thump when it hits.
Right, well. Maybe there are more cupcakes behind this door. I'll open the north door.
Okay.
oh dear.
So as you're looking in, you can see desiccated vines sprawling across the tables and foggy glass walls. This is a conservatory, a little indoor garden. There's rusted gardening tools and pots of barren soil scattered across the sturdy wooden tables, littering the floor.
Is my detect magic still going?
Yes, you would get the same general necromantic energy emanating from everywhere. It doesn't appear as though a spell, more just the house exudes that type of energy.
I don't get anything from the planters in particular.
Not in particular, no.
Yeah. Honestly, I've seen more haunted gardens.
So far.
Yes, you don't know how truly haunted this place could possibly be.
Veronis, after you spent a few moments in there, you and Hayes begin to see something strange. Whenever you blink, between these eye blinks, seeming to come in quick flashes whenever your eyes are closed, the conservatory is alive and filled with flowers. You can see a woman with with a veiled hat and a parasol strolling throughout the room. She pauses here and there to admire a bloom or adjust a pot. She then looks towards you. When you open your eyes again, you can see an afterimage of her, almost as if she was this bright light that you're seeing glimpses of as you reopen your eyes. But as suddenly as she appeared, she vanishes, and the room lies in ruin once again.
Hayes, did you get that?
If you're talking about the lady with the parasol, yes.
Another repeating apparition, it looks like.
As from the back, Parasol? What? What's happening?
Oh, nothing.
She starts shoving past everyone.
Something similar to what happened in the tower, an apparition, more like an after image.
If I close my eyes, do I still not see anything?
No, when you close your eyes, you see the room alive again, filled with flowers. The woman doesn't look at you again. She wanders around in here.
If you close your eyes, you can see her.
Ez closes her eyes. You can see her kind of looking around like she's taking everything in.
If I, step over here and try to obstruct the woman's path.
She passes directly through you.
Thinking back to the bus, does she resemble any of them?
She does. She resembles the lady of the house.
I relay, if I recall, this resembles one of the people in the room next to the tower.
Veronis, as you say that, those of you with passive perceptions 12 or higher notice several garden implements beginning to float up into the air. Shovels, picks, various different instruments hover up into the air and then begin angling their business ends towards the four of you. Who has a passive perception of 12 or higher?
Hayes.
Me.
Let me check Ez real quick.
I have 10, so.
Okay.
Yeah, not me.
You managed to stay out of the room, Aurelia.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. Ez notices that for sure. Jeez, she's got super high passive. All right, so as all of you notice this, anyone with a passive perception of 12 or higher can take an action to respond to this however you'd like.
I'm going to probably, shoot. There's 3 of them. Fuck. Probably gonna move at least in front of Hayes, throw up my shield to kind of block both of us, and close my eyes again to look at the woman and say, "We're not here to disturb you. Please don't attack us."
As you close your eyes now, you see the hooded and parasoled woman glaring angrily at the four of you. Make a persuasion check.
It's a good thing she's doing this, because I was going to say the flowers are beautiful.
22.
Iruha. The implements hovering in the air, you can see a good dozen shovels, picks, various different gardening instruments hovering in the air throughout the room. As you're looking around, you can see that the vines that had been laying across the floor are also beginning to tendril towards you all. As you say this, the woman turns, her face softening, turns back to her garden. All of the implements fall back to the ground. The vines retreat back into the wall, seemingly with a mind of their own. From now forward, whenever you have those visions, whenever you close your eyes, you see nothing but the room. You see nothing but darkness. The vision has stopped. But you have persuaded Lady Theodora that you mean no harm, at least for now. And as the silence closes back in over the room, you all hear the thundering weather outside. The storm has very much reached this place. The rain beats at the ceiling, at the roof overhead. Thunder cracks, flashes of lightning illuminate the area, especially in this windowed room. And we're going to go ahead and call it a session here.
Oh,